Hello, everyone. I finally have the 13. Well, I think it's the final 13. It was on the Cowboys website. It's 13. But have the final 13 of the undrafted free agents. And to be honest, lately the undrafted free agents have been pretty good. They've been pretty good, and in just the grand scheme of things, because of scouting, they're finding players. Players are being trained correctly, yada yada yada. So more players are coming through. So we have more options of having players that could actually possibly start and be and contribute to the football team. And I think I told you before, a lot of teams, just get players there at the last two rounds that they don't think they can get through undrafted free agency, and then through undrafted free agency, they can come through. And a lot of players, it's not really a bad thing if you don't get drafted seventh. You don't get to say you were drafted and you don't get that little bonus, I guess. But when you are an undrafted rookie free agent, you get to choose your situation, which is really important, because if the Cowboys, if we drafted like another running back, a third running back in round 7, he would be in a lot of competition. But then with that same running back would go to the Cardinals when they don't have a backup, or somebody like that, then he has a better chance. So that's the landscape of the current NFL. But before I get into that, NBC Sports Pro Football Talk, and I don't know what kind of talk it was, said that the Cowboys are thinking of moving on from Zeke or something of that fashion, that Zeke should be worried because we drafted 2 running backs. Are you insane, NBC? Are you insane? There's no way that those running backs, did you even look at the running back? One of the running backs isn't really a running back. He's a wide receiver that can run out of the backfield. And the other guy, I mean, he's good, but he was a 7th rounder. Why would we think a 7th rounder would take over for Ezekiel Elliott? A 6th rounder. Just always. And look, man, I'm no homer to Zeke. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'll trade Zeke. And I told people on that I'll trade Zeke for one reason only. The only reason why I would trade Zeke for the 2021 overall first pick, Trevor Lawrence. Hey, he's the next one. That's the only way I would ever let Zeke go. Trevor Lawrence. And I can say that with conviction. Trevor Lawrence. He's already a star in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence. All right, let's go to that. I'm a big Clemson homer. Don't let the Cowboys win a Super Bowl or start winning. Oh, good gracious, I'll be annoying. Oh, all right. 13 undrafted free agents. Andrew Dowell. Let me move this over so I can see my old age eyes. Andrew Dowell. Outstanding pursuit linebacker who is effective in space. Sounds like a Marinelli's guys to me. Covers a lot of area on the field. Marinelli guy takes proper angles at tackles, that's one thing during preseason that we pull our hair out. I won't be pulling my hair out this preseason. Oh, and by the way, thank you for reminding me. Jason Witten, I finally saw Jason Witten's bald head. Look, man, I'm bald by choice. I did this because I wanted to do this. All right. Andrew, he takes proper angles at tackles, which we really don't like when you see somebody flying in and just misses the guy. That's just annoying. We still have safeties that do that. Sorry. But he's 6 foot, 230. So he's a little small. He's going to have that to overcome. Justin Phillips, another linebacker. He's also small. He's 6 foot, 225. So just a little bit lighter. But he was a tackling machine at Oklahoma State, and they say he plays like a special teamer, whatever that would mean. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's good, because if he makes it on the Cowboys, special teams is the way he would go. So he would, be a special teams player. Next we have Nate Hall. He's an athletic 3-down linebacker that has complete game, effective against the run. He he pursues. But he got downgraded because he did bad in his senior year. They said he could eventually start, but the only knock in his lack of size. I think he's 6'2". He's not great size. I mean, he's not as small as Phillips and Dowell, but he's not great. Again, a Marinelli thing. Then we're going to go down to defensive end. You got Luke Gifford. Luke Gifford was a linebacker at Nebraska. but I'm pretty sure it was Nebraska. But he's going to probably be a defensive end for us because he ran like it was a super slow 40 time. He ran so we cannot put him back there at linebacker. So we'll probably have to put him at defensive end and see how he performs there and how Marinelli can get the best out of him. Daniel Wise, again, undersized. It tweaks me a little bit because I came in during, I started doing these shows during the Parcells days of the Cowboys, and that's when I learned about physics in football and how size means something, because we had Dexter Coakley and all that kind of stuff, and we would get completely beat up on defense. But Marinelli, I think he has a plan with fast, smaller players that can go in and out of game. If these guys had to play full games and small, then you'll get beat up. That's just the nature of this third dimension that we're on. But Daniel Wise, undersized but very explosive player. They said he might surprise in the right system, which means he has a good chance of doing something in this system because Marinelli knows what to do to a defensive lineman. Ricky Walker, a 300-pound defensive tackle. Again, his measurables are horrible. They said his length and all that stuff is horrible, but his motor is great. Everything else about him is great. He's just the length for a defensive tackle needs to be a certain level, and he falls short on all that. So we'll see if Marinelli says screw that, I can use him anyway. Then hey, I'm willing to look at him as well. All right, at offensive line we have a few. We've already talked about Larry Allen Jr., Derek Pooney, 6'6", 320. So I couldn't find much information on him. Now he's another big guy from a small school. So who knows? Who knows where he fits in until you drop him into action. Then we have Brandon Knight, very rough around edges, but came on as a senior. I think it was at Indiana. So he's a possibility that could crack the practice squad or something. And then we have Mitch Hyatt, Clemson. Should have been drafted, and really has a chance to make this football team. Keep an eye on Mitch Hyatt. You can just imagine the NFL talent that Mitch Hyatt had to block every day in practice for years at Clemson, because Clemson is such an elite program. I tell you, don't let the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. I will be annoying. All right, the last two, I saved the best two for last. The guys I would draft in Madden and then coach them up. But Jon'Vea Johnson, he's a wide receiver, and he's not too short. I thought he was short at first, but he's just a little bit under 6 foot. He's right between 6 foot and 6'1". He averaged a whopping 21.1 yards per catch. He scored a touchdown every 4.75 catches over the last 3 years. He catches with his hand. All this sounds great. He catches with his hands. He's just a very raw player. So Sanjay, work with him. We'll probably see him on the practice squad first, unless he just lights up stuff or whatever. We'll probably only see him on the practice squads first, and then maybe next year he might can crack the lineup. Same for the next guy that's super fast. Jon'Vea Johnson ran a 4.31, and the next guy, Jalen Guyton, local product from Texas, ran a 4.35, and he's 6 foot. He's a legit 6'1". So that's blazing for a 6'1" guy. He was a Notre Dame recruit. I think he got kicked out of Notre Dame for discipline problems, so he had to work his way back up to relevancy after you do something like that. But he was Allen High School in Texas, if y'all are familiar. But at Allen High School in Texas, and he got a whole bunch of whopping yards. So I think the Cowboys, since he was a local name, that left, I think the Cowboys probably have a lot of information on that guy, and they picked him knowing that they can possibly do something with him. So and it was one of the first guys the rumors that was signed to the Cowboys. So I can't wait to see those guys at training camp, guys. But those are the undrafted free agents that go along with our draft picks. And like I said, If we're going to pay Dak Prescott what I feel that Dak Prescott deserves, because it's more than Kirk Cousins. If we pay him what he deserves, then we're going to have to get some young, cheap players and surround them with that. Will it work? I don't know. I'm just a fan. I just sit here and watch games. All right, guys, holla at your peace.